Hey folks, it's the Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Well, it's a bit of a sad day in the Mr. Man Cave today because it's the day that I'm going to have my last significant ride on the Harley-Davidson Fatbob. I'm going to roll her out the garage for the last time and I'm going to give you my sort of closing thoughts on this motorcycle. Some of the pros and cons, some of the things that I've learnt about the bike since I've been riding her. So stick around and stay tuned. This is a Harley-Davidson Fatbob hog vlog.
Harley-Davidson hog vlog. Took me ages to come up with that. I do make me laugh. What a lovely day to be out on the bike. Recording this at the back end of summer basically, which is definitely the best time to have a bike like this. And what are my sort of overall feelings about the Fatbob? Well, I shall definitely be sad to see it go. If you've not seen my first impressions review, my first ride video, do go and check that out, because in that I talk more, I do it in a more of a standard review format where I talk about the spec and all the bits and pieces on the bike. This really is just going to be a bit of a summary video of my thoughts, the pros and cons on the bike.
So welcome back to the Man Cave. Thought it was an opportunity while the bike's actually here in the garage to tell you some of the things that I'm not so keen on the bike. There are three things. First off, the pricing on the machine, $16,995 according to the website. Now that is quite expensive, isn't it? Just shy of 17 grand for a motorcycle that doesn't have much in the way of technical riding aids, things like that. So, I mean, you could be missing the point, because Harley-Davidsons, I think, aren't all about technical riding aids and things like that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of too many electronics on a bike, so it's not an issue for me. But for a bike that really is relatively basic, 17 grand is undeniably a lot of money. So that's the first thing.
One of the enduring thoughts I will have about this bike as I give it back is how nice it's been to ride. The handling on this has been so much better than it has any right to be, with the two big fat tyres on this. You'd think that the handling would be horrible, but no, it's great.
The other thing I would say about the Fatbob, and this applies basically to all bikes that have this feet forward riding position, is that for a prolonged ride, this seat can get a little bit uncomfortable. It's actually a very comfortable seat to sit on, but after about an hour, because all the weight is through your back, I do find you get a bit of bum trauma going on. So yeah, not particularly comfortable for long rides, unfortunately.
She sounds lovely too. This has got the standard pipes on it, and they're just the right sort of low rumble for me. They haven't got a sort of obnoxious volume to them. They just sound good. Well, by the way, that barrier you saw me using at the start of the video across my garage door, whenever I show that on the channel, people always ask me, what's that security barrier you've got? Well, that's my guardsman from Image 4 Security. They're sponsors of the video, and I've got a link below in the description on this video of where you can get that barrier from, and if you use the code TMF50 you can actually get 50 quid off of it as well. So if you have got a few bikes that you want to protect in your garage, I heartily recommend that security barrier. Go and check that the details out below, as I say.
And the last of my whinges about the bike, there's no chrome to polish on this, so if you love cleaning and polishing your bike on a Sunday, as I do, you're not going to like this. There's nothing to polish up.
Love this road. It's all too short, but it's just got some nice elevation changes, a few twists and turns. If only it were about 10 miles longer rather than being about half a mile. Splendid road. So loads of things that I love about this bike, some of which I touched on in that first ride video, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much.
One of the things I love about this bike, absolutely no chrome to polish. Brilliant. You don't have to mess about with your chrome polish on a Sunday, buffing her up. It's got this sort of hard baked, almost baked on sort of finish on the cylinder heads. It's got a similar finish, lovely bronze cover on the exhaust pipe, so you ain't got to faff about polishing chrome all Sunday. That's a good thing.
One of the things I definitely like about the bike is the minimalist branding. I did mention this before on the machine. The fact it doesn't say Harley-Davidson on the tank. It's got a picture of the badge, but it doesn't actually say Harley-Davidson on the side of the tank anyway. It says it on the opposite side in wordage form. I just think that sort of asymmetric look is cool. One of the other things I thought would be annoying on the bike, but turned out to be fine, is the indicators. It's got the Harley indicators. So you've got, press the right button to go right, press the left button to go left. but it's got auto cancellation. That seems to work really well.
Another thing I love about the Fatbob is the minimalist styling. I mentioned that already, but that doesn't just run to the actual fit and finish on the bike, like the branding that I've talked about already, but also things like the controls and the handlebars. So check these out. The controls are proper push buttons that you can feel that you've pressed, which I like. They feel quality. You've got none of those horrible plastic brake reservoirs. Down here you've got a minimalist instrument gauge, basically this big rev counter and then a small bit of LCD in the bottom there. Blimey, it's got busy here all of a sudden, which I love. And also these big old fat handlebars. I really love the way that they've hidden most of the wiring inside the handlebars. It just keeps it nice and minimalist, and I think that makes it look really cool. Gives it that sort of custom vibe. I love that.
Yeah, just talking about the styling of the bike and that minimalist branding, that is one of the big pros for me. I just like the way the bike is sort of understated. It does have that lacquer chrome, which, you know, I kind of, for fun, put that in as both a pro and a con. But, you know, if you like polishing the bike, then this isn't the bike for you. But if you just like going out and riding, giving your bike a clean once in a while, then this one isn't going to be a right nightmare to clean. So that is definitely a pro.
I'm just absorbing a few more things in about the Fatbob before I have to give it back. They really have done a nice job on the design of this. I do love, I've already mentioned it, but I do love the branding around the wheels. I love the knobbly tyres. I just think that makes it look incredible. Stuff like this really hefty brake pedal looks great. I've not seen a brake reservoir mounted down there before either. I think that's really good. I've already mentioned the fit and finish. I love these big old air filters on here. This has got a hairnet on because that sort of keeps the rain off of it, but if you're riding in a hot country and it doesn't rain, of course it rains here in Blight all the time, then you can take the hairnet off and that gives it a bit more of a look. This is your adjustment for the rear suspension. I haven't fiddled with that, but there is a little bit of an adjustment for preload. Yeah, I just think they've done a lovely job on the styling. Even on this side, look, we haven't got the exhaust pipe. You've got an inbuilt charging lead already, which they put on there as standard, which I like. I love this, where the HT leads come out and into the cylinders. The fact that it's outboard, I love that. A proper bit of engineering here. That's one of the things that appeals to me about Harley-Davidsons generally. They're properly engineered, built by blokes with spanners. I just love that.
But for me, as with all Harley-Davidsons, the biggest pro, and this is the thing that I think most people sometimes don't get when they're all too quick to slag off Harley-Davidsons, it's just how these bikes make you feel. That is definitely the biggest pro on this. It just makes you feel cool, like all Harleys I've ever ridden, which has been a few now. You just feel damn good riding it, and surely that is the most important thing about a motorcycle, isn't it? How it makes you feel. I mean, regardless of what I actually look like, I feel cool as when I'm on a Harley-Davidson, and the Fatbob does that in spades. It just makes you feel brilliant. That's got to be the most important thing about a motorcycle, hasn't it?
So another massive pro point about the Fatbob that I did forget to mention in my first ride review is the fact that it's belt drive. That just makes life so much easier when it comes to maintenance. I see no disadvantages of having a belt, and it beats me why more bike manufacturers don't use belt drives instead of chains. But anyway, thumbs up for the Fatbob for being belt drive.
Now the pro, of course, is the amazing engine on this. 114 cubic inches of shove. It's all about the torque on this machine. Again, go check out my video where I go through the specs if you want all the numbers. But at real world speeds, you know, 0 to 60, this thing absolutely chucks you along the road. Feels like you're being fired out of a catapult. It sounds awesome when it's doing it, and you have a big grin on your face at the same time. So love the engine on this.
Before I forget, I must say a massive thank you to Harley-Davidson UK for making the Fatbob available to me. I've really enjoyed riding it, and it's absolutely brilliant that Harley are letting me borrow these bikes now, so thank you to you guys.
Absolutely stonking bike this, and overall, so far of the Harleys I've ridden, if I were going to have any in my garage, this would be the one. Absolutely cracking bike, and if you're interested in Harley-Davidsons at all, I wholeheartedly recommend go and get yourself a test ride on one of these. Don't take my word for anything I've said. Go and ride one and see what you think yourself. I think if you like cruisers, you're going to love this. Alright, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that little hog vlog, and I look forward to speaking to you again next time. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and I look forward to speaking to you on the next video. Until then, this has been the Mr. Flyer. Cheerio. One of the things I will be left with, one of the sort of long thoughts. Let's do it again.
Hey folks, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Well, sadly, it's come to that time in every bike clone's life where I have to say cheerio, wheel the Harley-Davidson Fatbob out of the garage for the last time for my final ride on the bike. So in this video, if you're interested in this machine, stick around and stay tuned, because that was all rubbish. Let's do that again.